You know, a lot of times during the commercial breaks between the show, you have, or even for that matter, when the show ends, you'll hear a guest, largely a Republican guest, when they take off the mic, hear us say, or the mic's dead, that they wish they could have said more on a host of subjects. And trust me, it's happened as recently as this week here. But because of the nature of the party or potential punishments that could come down, they bite their tongue. And from Democrats who ask, why can't we hear from more thoughtful guys like you have around the table, Rich? Why don't, it's not like the crazies we hear in Washington. We wish they only had more guts to say this more often. Well, tonight, you got a Republican who spoke his mind here, and he heard about it today, Tom Doherty. We've also got his tweets and a write-up in none other than today's New York Times to speak to it. And Andrew, let's go through the highlights because I got a bunch of questions.
It was also the lead story on the Rush Limbaugh show today, but you and I both follow Tom on Twitter, and apparently so does Columbia University journalism professor and online Tom's columnist Tom Edsall. In today's Opinionator blog, he asks the question, has the GOP gone off the deep end? And the first words in his column are Thomas Doherty. Edsall quotes Tom's tweet last week, if Senate immigration bill gets ripped apart and ultimately defeated by House GOP, I've decided to leave my political home of 32 years, #sad. Edsall also spoke with Tom. Quote, Doherty told me that he has come to the conclusion that my party has elements within it that dislike homosexuals and think America is still in the 1940s. And while we talk about freedom and liberty, that liberty and freedom only seem to be acceptable for some. And Tom isn't alone. In the column, Edsall points out other Republicans like Jeb Bush, Bob Dole, and others who have sounded the alarm bell about the GOP, warning it caters too much to extreme voices and listens to too many pure ideologues. And yes, even Bill Kristol, editor of the Weekly Standard and regular on Fox News, is among them. Rich?
All right. Tom, first of all, I'm curious, reaction from within today. Forget about folks who say, oh, I love the column. Longtime Republicans who probably wanted to say what you wanted to say, but they, they were afraid of maybe some of the consequences. What's been some of the feedback today?
The feedback's been what I expected, is that the people that I think understand politics and understand the industry said bravo. It's about time somebody said that. The crazies who are crazy in my party, the people who, for instance, who think that Chris Christie's a liberal, told me that I should get the hell out of the party quick and don't let the door hit me in the ass. It's exactly what I expected. And quite, and the thing that really hit me today was that when I tweeted that last week or so, is that I really am at a point where, I mean, I can never be a Democrat.
Don't worry.
But the one thing that came about today in hearing the reaction from so many people, and Kevin Madden had said this to me originally, and he was a spokesperson for the Romney campaign, and a Yonkers kid, is that he said, stay and fight, brother. Is that, part of me is like, this is an endeavor really worth fighting for, because I think that, I want a party that my kids and their kids are going to be proud of. And that includes everybody. And Rand Paul said it best a few weeks ago. He said, the Republican Party will not win another presidential election until we start looking like America. And it is a problem. I mean, listen, we joke, we shrug our shoulders when we have a national convention and we got to search out the African American over there and the Hispanic guy over there. And that's not America. And so people that understand this business get that and understood what I'm talking about. So,
before I saw the piece last night, let's be fair. I won't say the name because he'd want to say this to the break. We're talking about the minimum wage thing, right? And about the farm bill and everything. Mm-hmm. And then he does the fight. He does his regular routine like the guys got to do. And we go to break. He goes, "What the hell are they doing? Why are we?" He goes, "We got the news cycle on our side here. Mm-hmm. Why are we trying to screw people on food stamps when we're helping out the big macro farmers?" And Andrew did a good piece.
Accident?
No, but he said it's just dumb politics. And it gets me to my core question, which is, do the voices that are driving this really believe in the principle that they're doing the right thing? Because the hypocrisy, Tom's the part that gets me. Right. I get, and I understand. We can debate on stuff on immigration, death penalty, guns, whatever. And I might not agree with the other side, but philosophically, I understand they have a side. But the Farm Bill was the biggest height of phony hypocrisy. The same guy, Fincher, right? Yeah. Who says, you know what? And he quotes the Bible. People got it. The guy made, what, $3.2 million $3.5 million bucks in the last 15 years, government kickbacks for this.
Right.
But yet he's saying that everybody's got to tighten their belt. And it's that kind of stuff that I say, do they really believe the BS? Or are they just toting a party line here because they think it'll stick it to the president or whatever the agenda is?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things, but I think by and large right now the problem with our party nationally, there is no doubt in my mind that John Boehner would like to get an immigration bill done. There's no doubt. As the leader of the Republican Party, as the speaker, his problem is that he's got to worry about an internal primary. And it goes back to guys in Congress. It goes back to United States senators. It's what Enzi is going through in Wyoming right now, is that you're always looking over your shoulder and caring about the next election, and the Tea Party and the right wing of my party, which votes in primaries, are out to get you. So you say to yourself, I got to suck this one up. I'm going to be a hypocrite on this, because quite frankly, all the people in my party who say, oh, we got to worry about spending, we got to worry about more spending. Where were they originally when the House Republicans in say, the 1996, 97, 98? Richard will tell you, they were spending like drunken sailors. There were member items all over the place.
Apologize to the drunken sailors. There are a couple of things admirable about what Tom did. It's candid, and candor counts. So,
thank you.
A lot of it's true. Well, hold on a second. 2 big points, Tom. You created this monster. You and yours. You used them in political terms. Willie Horton. And you use them in campaigns on abortion, and these are your rogue children that are eating you alive.
I didn't write that in.
That's wait. 2.
How old was that?
2. This is the libertarian line. It's an interesting one. It's intellectually defensible. The real problem with the Republican Party isn't that when you pan across the convention there are no African American and Latino faces. There are no poor people. And there are very few middle-class people. They are the captives of the wealthy and the austerity economics that's bad for America and good for the corporate wealthy. If you're going to take on your party, you've got to do it more than on immigration and gay marriage. You've got to fundamentally ask the question, whose interests are being protected on economic policy, not just on the social policy where you're a clear loser already. I think you personally are capable of that sort of deeper conversion. We don't want you in the Democratic Party. Don't misunderstand me.
He ain't joining it.
If you're gonna make this argument, don't stop at gay rights and civil rights.
Listen, I don't think we need to stop anywhere. I think that one of the things that I have seen as I've done more TV shows, as I've talked to more people, is I've come to realize is that the more you get educated about what the facts are, is the more that your mind just opens up to a lot of things. As I've traveled the country, as I've traveled the world, I recognize that part of the problem with my party has been is that, and I'm not going to point to one specific place, is that you don't culturally see and hear different ideas. And it doesn't change who you are. I mean, part of it, we're supposed to evolve, and my party's not evolving.
There's a lot of fear-based thinking in the Republican Party.
There's no question about that. And the funny part is that if you gave me a list of things that probably with a lot of the right wing of my party, I would agree philosophically on many, many things that they come down on. But so much of it is just the optics that they seem to be hateful on a lot of things.